Well, good morning and welcome to 755 Live, about 5 minutes of what Jesus said. Today, Jesus said, fast like it's no big deal. These are soundbite versions of the commands of Jesus, just designed to help us to really learn and obey what Jesus said and put it into practice. If this is meaningful to you, if you really like or helps, if you like it, if you share it, if you comment on social media, it just means a lot. You can find a different command of Jesus at our weekday Bible plan at bible.today.church. Jesus said, fast like it's no big deal. This comes from Matthew 6, 16 through 18. In the New Living Translation, it says, "And when you fast, don't make it obvious as the hypocrites do, for they try to look miserable and disheveled so that people will admire them for their fasting. I tell you the truth, that is the only reward they will ever get. But when you fast, comb your hair and wash your face. Then no one will notice that you are fasting except your Father, who knows what you do in private. And your Father, who sees everything, will reward you." So putting this into kind of a soundbite version, fast like it's no big deal. Don't fast for show. Don't make a big pretense about it, because what you do in private, your Father blesses in public. Now, in context here in Matthew 6, Jesus is giving examples of how to pray. Notice that Jesus didn't say if you fast, but he said when you fast. Fast like it's no big deal. Now, back in Matthew 9, Jesus explained that while he was here on earth, that his disciples wouldn't fast, but after he was gone, that they would fast. And in this time period, fasting was much more a part of culture than it is now in our culture. They fasted 2 days a week just as a part of culture, at least. And then there were feasts and fast days on the calendar that were basically national holidays. Fasting was a part of God's calendar, even in the Older Testament. And what happened? Well, we see in writings from the first century and the first few centuries after Jesus went back to heaven, we find that fasting was a typical part of Christian life. In fact, one of the earliest writings that's called the Didache was written sometime in the first century. You can clearly understand that just from the writing that the Didache just assumed that fasting was normal. And in fact, it was normal to fast 2 days a week. And today, we can pretty much assume that we don't fast regularly, that it's not really on the calendar. But we see fasting as a big part of being a disciple throughout the Bible. Now, what is fasting? There are many different kinds of fasts, but in a biblical context, the majority of times it's doing without food. Jesus fasted for 40 days before beginning his ministry without food or drink. Paul fasted for an extended time period right after his conversion. We see fasting throughout Acts as the disciples and those in leadership needed to make decisions. They would fast and pray. And so the question today, if we're going to fast like it's no big deal, the question is, when do we fast? When is it on the calendar? And not for a show, not to earn or deserve anything, but in obedience. When is it on your calendar? Now, if fasting is not a regular part of your life, I wouldn't suggest that you start and try to do a 3-day fast or a week fast or maybe even a whole day of fasting. Start small and put it on your calendar. A regular time every week. Maybe it's one meal. Maybe it's fasting something else. There's some information about fasting on our website at today.church and some helpful things to just get you going as far as making fasting a part of your life. Beginning in 2022, we're going to fast for 22 days, starting on January 4th. I'm not asking anyone to fast that whole time, but to fast something during that time. Why? It's not for show. It's not to achieve some kind of righteousness. It's just obedience and learning to deny ourselves like Jesus commanded. And Jesus said, fast like it's no big deal. How can we put that into action today?